You're watching Console Conversations.
Hello everybody, it's me, WalterTheGermanyBall, back with another episode of Console Conversations, Season 3, Episode 10. So, yeah, this one's a bit different because I've been ranking I was ranking consoles for multiple episodes, then we had 3 more normal episodes, and then I ranked consoles again. But now, me and Hyden are here with another normal episode, and we're going to talk about gaming memories. So we've split these up into 4 categories. I have 3 in each category, and Hyden has 2 in each category. And yes, I know my voice sounds horrible. I have terrible allergies, I'm sick, and my throat is dry, so just, yeah. So, these 4 categories are sad, frustrating, delightful, and shocking. So I will go first with my 3 sad memories. So just before we get into this, I am about to spoil the ending of both Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2, as well as one of the beginning parts of Undertale. Later on in the video, during shocking, I will be spoiling another part of The Last of Us Part 2, another part of Ghost of Tsushima, and a part of Hat in Time. So look out for that. And when Hyden goes into it, one of his sads will be spoiling Detroit Become Human, I believe, and one of his shockings will be spoiling Far Cry 5. So.
Oh, and also one of my happies.
Yes.
Will be also spoiling
Detroit Become Human. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, please keep that in mind, and without further ado, I'm going to get into my sad number 1, and you're about to hear a noise because I'm muting myself, because this is a spoiler for Hyden. So, my number 1 sad moment was the ending of The Last of Us Part 2. And it was for a multitude of different reasons. It was because of the beautiful music, the beautiful credits, the scene where Ellie goes back to the house and Dean is no longer there, which is very, very emotionally impactful. The scene where she tries to play the song that Joel teaches her at the very beginning of the game, but cannot because Abby bit her fingers off. The part where she's strangling Abby to death, and she looks at Lev and remembers Joel, and they have their last conversation with Joel. It's all so well done and emotional, and it's why it's my favorite ending in any game, because it's the only one it's one of 2 that's only ever made me cry. It's beautiful, and it's a perfect way to end the game, because the whole point of Abby's narrative is that she's this cold-blooded killer who is, reconnecting because of a child that she's with, and that's exactly what Joel was in the first game, but they, obviously change it. So that's why it's so important to Abby that Lev is safe, so Ellie does not kill her, because she knows that she'll be just as bad as that. And she doesn't realize that what she's doing is terrible until she sees that. That's why the criticism of, the hundreds of people she killed before, those don't matter, is completely stupid. So that is why number 1 is The Last of Us Part 2's ending. And number 2 is the ending of Ghost of Tsushima, which I will mute myself again because this is another spoiler for Hyden. So this is my number 2 because it just is amazing. The visual style of the final area, the impact of the battle with your uncle and how it's been leading up to that. I thought the story of Ghost of Tsushima was fine, but overly ambitious. It acted like it was on par with The Last of Us 2 or Order 1886 and was only decent. I thought it had great themes, had really good historical themes as well, but really failed to deliver on payoff and interesting character relationships. It was very simple, and I'm totally fine with that. But it acted like it was more than that, and that's wrong. But the ending, however, with the uncle, and you have to choose to spare or murder him in cold blood, is amazing and very interesting. So that is why that is my second favorite, or well, my second saddest gaming memory. So then number 3 is another spoiler, but I promise not many spoilers for later. So I'm going to mute myself again, and I'll be quick with this one. So my third saddest memory is killing the cow mom, or whatever her name is, in Undertale, because it's a really impactful scene. She just tries to care for the main character, but you have to go on your mission and you push her away. There can be no game without her, but without her, the game feels less. And that doesn't mean the game is bad because you have to kill her. Not at all. I think it was a great scene that was done perfectly to represent the game. And it's one of few really truly somber moments in the game that really just surprised me out of nowhere and was absolutely beautiful. So that's why that's my number 3 saddest moment in the game. So, Hyden, if you would like to go with your 2 saddest gaming memories, go right ahead.
Okay. I would say that the first one on my list is, and this is a spoiler by the way, when Connor got killed in final area of the story part I was playing, because I didn't do the decisions where I kind of went into who Hank's son was, and that was the final question. And if I went down that path, was I able to find out if I was able to survive. So yeah, that was pretty sad. It was also kind of frustrating too, because like I thought at first I like picking the wrong answer, but because I never heard it before. But then it was also kind of sad because he survived, and Kara and Alice, Connor died, and then Alice and Kara survived, and they weren't my favorite characters, you know, and they survived without losing anyone except that random guy that I'm pretty sure they met in the house. So I think that's who the guy. I never knew who that guy's sacrifice was, but and then the second one would be Bobby is also spoiler for Origami King, which is Bobby's death.
Yeah.
Which is the natural life cycle of a bomb, where he exploded a boulder and died, and it was also shocking as well, but also sad, because I was actually starting to like him, the character, which is surprising because you never really actually get attached to Mario character.
Yeah. Well,
not even in Super Paper Mario, which was my favorite Paper Mario game. You never got attached to any of the characters. It was like, oh, I mean, he was my favorite character in that game. I mean, nothing really happened to him. He was cool, Mr. L. But Bobby, you knew who he was. He had really cool and nice interactions with Olivia, who was sad when he died, just sacrificing himself to save her. So yeah, that was pretty sad, and I was also surprised because Nintendo never really kills off a character in their games, because I've never actually seen them kill off a character, especially in Mario.
Yeah, seriously.
Even a Paper Mario game.
What is that? Enemy goes poof. But he dies. That was horrible. We're recording this multiple months ahead of time, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
But I literally today, encountered that part where he killed himself. And I had heard about it before, but like I had heard like, oh, Bobby's not there for long, but like I was shocked because it was like, yeah, he's dead. And then, you know, like you see his ghost for a brief minute, and I thought, oh yeah, it's Mario, they're gonna bring him back. It's gonna be something where he travels with. No, he doesn't. He's just there for one little scene. So
And
that
also,
was crazy. Like, seriously. So yeah, and then we gotta go on to frustrating now. So for this one, I'm actually going to go 3, 2, and then 1, because 1 I'm building up to. So number 3 for me is the chase scenes from Ori and the Blind Forest. They were fun. They were one of the best parts of the game, honestly. They were so beautiful and breathtaking and fluid, and you had to test every single one of your platforming skills. It was brilliant, but the difficulty spikes were not controller smashingly bad, but were definitely very annoying. Then we have Sonic Mania Hydro City Zone, which is just annoying for a different reason. Well, actually, no, the same reason. Because these aren't necessarily just ridiculously impossible tasks you have to accomplish. It's that you get to a certain point and then you die and you lose all of your progress. It literally took me a year of playing on and off Sonic Mania to beat Hydro City Zone, one zone, because of one boss at the very end of the zone. Because I would always lose all my lives to him, and then I would have to restart the whole thing. Doesn't that sound fun? So both of those annoyed me for that reason, but then I can't believe I nominated this game for anything at the TGBs. The Pokemon DLC. Do I even need to say anything else? People
what
were.
did you even nominate it for?
I think I like best open world and best, because it did have a great open world, and best Switch exclusive, because I kind of had to, because people did like it, which those people are insane, almost as insane as people who like frickin' Alien 3, but I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but it's just terrible. Okay, there were people who were disappointed by multiple games this year, right? A lot of people got mad at Paper Mario, even though, and I'm about to say this, and I'm not an RPG fan, and I've never played a Paper Mario game, so that might be part of it, but it's a really fun and really well done game, so people hating on that game because it doesn't have, like, 2 things in it that they miss is ridiculous. And then, you know, you have people being like, oh, that Last of Us 2 was terrible, and it's like, no, shut your mouth, you idiot. So, you know, you have people just going off on these great games this year, fantastic experiences from this year, for no reason. And then we have Pokemon DLC, which is literally awful. And it's not because, you know, the story's bad, which it's pretty lackluster, but it's not that bad. It's not because it's not because the gameplay's not fun. It's not because the open world is bad. It's not because the frame rate is terrible, which some people claimed, and that's just not true. The graphics were really good. The graphics and story were good. The open world, though, exploring that and getting the clothes was fantastic. But no. They just had to make you grind Kung-Fu 60 levels to make any progress. What is wrong with you? At the time of this recording, the Crown Tundra has not come out, but it will in a couple weeks, and when I pick it up and review it, I am expecting a lot to make up for. I spent $30 on this expansion pass, and if one part of it isn't good, I'm going to lose my mind. So, sorry I went on a bit of a tangent there, but if you want to go hiding with your 2 frustrating ones, go right ahead.
Yeah, I would say the first one would be like the Ice Boss from Luigi's Mansion 2, because it was really hard to get like the explosion, the bombs into its mouth, especially at the like it's not really the bombs into its mouth. It's like hitting the bombs around the cracked parts, and then hitting into its mouth,
Mhm.
and like doing that before it like refreezes. That was really hard, but for some reason it was only really hard after I beat the game, and when I replayed it was
Mhm.
weird, but that was really frustrating. And the second thing that was frustrating was the final like battle in Ghost of Tsushima where you're on the boat. Because I'm playing in lethal mode, and the battles, like the battles are you die in like 1-2 hits. So like me and there's no like save in that battle because like you have to first like defeat the first few enemies, do damage to the con, and then have it so it like gets you into the next phase, which is more enemies that are even stronger that you have to avoid and defeat, and you have to make sure that you save your resources, because if you don't save your resources, then you'll have to just like run away from them and fight and like try and dodge everything without getting hit once. And then like you can't exit out to get more resources, like buy it, because you have to do the entire like mission again, and then you have to do like the stealth stuff to get there, and then you have to do the duel again, which is really hard.
Yeah.
That was really annoying. And then I think um,
I mean, like, even on just hard difficulty, that was a pretty challenging fight because of how many different enemies there were.
yeah,
Also, little side thing here. It's funny that so Paper Mario and Ghost of Tsushima came out on the same day, and you pre-ordered Paper Mario, and I pre-ordered Ghost of Tsushima, and we made reviews for each of the games, and then in the same week, we both buy the other game. I just find that
hmm,
very funny and interesting. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, and then we move on to delightful. So my
ooh,
number one is no competition, Jump Up Superstar. Um, so this is a scene in Mario Odyssey I'm sure many people know about in New Donk City, and it's just fantastic. The music and the visuals and the gameplay all come together in this musical finale. Like Mario Galaxy, I am not the hugest
yeah,
fan of the game. Well, actually, no, I'm a huge fan of Mario Galaxy 1's story. I don't really like going back and 100%ing it. I think it's probably like I don't like 64 Sunshine that much at all, but Galaxy is very good.
hmm,
I'm not a huge fan of Galaxy 2 personally, but regardless, that like I thought gaming soundtracks couldn't ever get better than that. Like that and
yeah,
Spyro and some Legend of Zelda games, those were like at the top. And then, Mario Odyssey comes in with Jump Up Superstar, and it launches, and no pun intended here, but it launches Mario Galaxy into the stratosphere and punches it in the face because it's so good. It's amazing. And then two is the Uncharted 2 ending. It was just really nice. I don't really want to spoil it. It
hmm,
was just nice, really action packed. Was not expecting it at all. So really fantastic ending to a really fantastic game. And then the ending of Horizon was also fantastic because I mean, it's such a long game, but beating it is so satisfying. I mean, I just platinumed the game. That is the ultimate satisfaction. Then 100%ing it, but beating it is still super satisfying, and it's literally one of the best games ever made. So, yeah, I think it deserves a spot there. So yeah, those are my delightfuls, but one thing outside of a game that literally made me feel like insane was the Spyro Reignited Trilogy announcement. I get an email from GameStop. This was over 2 years ago. Keep this in mind. And I open it, and I see Spyro. So I close it out. I'm like, no. So I go onto YouTube. I search up Sony, or I don't know what I searched up. And then I found the video, and I watch it, and I'm there, like, tears gushing out of my eyes. I'm screaming. Like, it was probably one of the best moments ever for me in gaming, ever. It was so good. That was my most hyped game of all time. I was very hyped for Mario Odyssey. I was extremely hyped for Last of Us 2. But Spyro Reignited Trilogy was there at the top. I was so excited. And though I'm not a huge fan of the remake itself, I prefer the originals for dumb reasons. Like, no actual reasons. It's so stupid. It was such a good moment. So yeah, Hayden, you can go ahead with your 2 delightful moments.
So I would say my delightful moments are my delightful moments and when I was able to keep Connor alive and Detroit Become Human, when I was able to go down the path where I learned Hank's son's name and went down the same path as before, except I got peaceful and stuff. And Kara, or Alice, ended up, yeah, but they didn't end up going unscathed. And again, I didn't really like them that much. Like, their character, like, they were fine, but it's just, their, like, missions weren't really that, like, their parts weren't really that interesting, and, like, and it was like, I really liked the relationship between Hank and Connor. So that's probably what made me like Connor more. And it's like, just, like, like, Kara taking care of Alice. But it's not really my thing. Like, especially when she ended up being a robot. Like, it seems, I mean, I wasn't really expecting it, but it was interesting. But it's like, I prefer Connor more, so. And so I made sure Connor stayed alive this time, and that's what made me that time. And the next happy part is when I beat the Tasman battle for the second time, because that was a really tough battle when I first played it, and the second time it was also pretty tough. I kind of knew what to do because a few years back, I beat that battle, and it felt good being the battle again for a battle again for the second time, and I think I beat it for a third time because I forgot to save, so I had to do that again, but that was also nice. And then I think another delightful thing would be like maybe.
Well, I thought you were mad too.
Well, maybe would be when, like, it was probably when, like, either Spider-Man, I saw the Spider-Man come out. I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. I haven't actually played Spider-Man. It was kind of like the vibe thing. It was like, oh, I'm probably going to get that. I like the Spider-Man game I have. And another one could be like when Sackboy, because that was a good feeling. Like, I liked Little Big Planet 3. I mean, I never played 1 and 2, but Little Big Planet 3 was pretty fun for me, and having a game that's actually like in the, like, is actually created by the people that made Little Big Planet 3. Like, it's more like it's created with their vision in mind instead of trying to keep it looking as similar to what Media Molecule had
Yeah.
before, which made it seem like they were trying too hard to be too similar, which ended up making them fail. But
Mhm.
now it's kind of like a
It's
kind of 3D
unique.
platformer,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, Sackboy in 3D sounds pretty interesting. So I might try that out if I get a PS5.
Yeah, that does
And
sound good. And then we have Shocking is the last one. So my number one is a spoiler for Last of Us 2, but Hayden already knows it. Yeah. So it is Joel, you know, Joel getting his head beaten in with a golf club by Abby, who, yes, is my favorite character in the game other than Ellie. So, there, haters. Go ahead. So yes, I think Abby is a good character. A very good character, very likable character, and very well developed character. Well, I think my favorite character might be the horse, but I don't know if that counts. So yeah, he dies, obviously, and she's behind it, but I mean, like, look. In the first game, he literally murders, like, 100 people who are literally trying to save humanity because of one girl, who I get is one of the main characters, but still, that's so selfish, which is bad enough. And then he goes in and murders Abby's father, who's one of the just surgeons, who doesn't even have, like, any weapons or anything, and it
yeah.
just kills him.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the surgeon could have stabbed him with one of his
Well, yeah, but
staple or
still,
with
like,
one.
why would you, it's over exaggerated. They knew they could get a vaccine from her, and it could have led to hundreds, millions of lives being saved, all for one girl. Like, that's just insane. So there's no consequence for that in the first game, right? Because he does it at the end. There needed to be a consequence, and that's what happens. If you do that, you're gonna get something. And that's exactly what happens. He dies. And so that makes sense. That's why I don't have a problem with it. Because, well, one, I felt like Joel was a great character, but I personally don't find him to be one of the better ones. Which, I'm not gonna use that as an actual argument, but, like, Abby did it for a reason. It's not like she's some serial killer who goes around murdering anyone with the name Joel Miller. I mean, that'd be pretty
I mean,
ridiculous. But
heck,
still, like, she knows, okay, this is a guy named Joel Miller, and he has a brother named Tommy Miller, and this is what they're supposed to look like. And they killed my dad for no reason. So I am going to kill him. That makes sense. So that was a shocking thing, because I didn't look at the
I
leaks at
mean,
all, but it was shocking. I didn't expect it at all. The music was tense. My heart was pounding through the whole scene. It was just amazing. So yeah. And then I'm gonna mute myself again for number 2, which is the horror level in A Hat in Time in Subcon Forest. What was that? That was amazing and terrifying also. I don't have much to say other than that. And then number 3 is something from Ghost of Tsushima that I will not spoil, and that is the fight against Lady Masako in one of the side missions. So those are my 3 shocking ones, and so Hayden, you can go ahead with your 2 shocking gaming memories.
so I guess the first one would be, it's a spoiler for Far Cry 5, but you can skip if you want about. It's when the nukes were dropped near the or in the county or in near the county where you were at in Far Cry 5, because I didn't expect that to happen. Like, I know, like, the main guy was like preaching about like humanity killing each other with nukes and stuff, but I didn't like how did I was like surprised, like how did that even happen, like, and it seemed like it was on his command as well, and
Mhm.
it's also like why would they like it was very strange that they just like knew like this specific town. Maybe because they hadn't heard from the guy and they knew it was like a town full of crazy people, so the US just nuked it themselves.
Yeah. And
And
then
then
your second one?
I was also surprised, well, the same it was in the same part, but this is still the same for the still the same shocking moment. And the same thing, I was also surprised that like everyone died in like everyone died you survive, which is pretty interesting. So my second shocking one was that the fight with Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2, get it? Because he has electric powers.
Yes, very good.
I mean, it's also shocking because um, I when I had the game, either I know I'm pretty sure I watched the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie by that point,
Oh
like
god.
2014, but I didn't remember who I didn't remember Amazing Spider-Man 2. So it was interesting when the guy kind of I was kind of shocked when the guy fell into a a like container of eels, like became
Mhm.
Electro, and the fight wasn't like the fight itself, like seeing it happen, it wasn't that shocking because it was kind of
Yeah.
expected. Like he falls in, he's probably going to be the next boss.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that was pretty. It was also unexpected because like he's not the main boss of the game.
Yeah.
Why is he here? I think that was a problem with like the earlier Spider-Man movies, because like they had so many bosses that didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like I guess he was kind of the main boss because in the end, spoilers, him and Green Goblin team up and like kidnap the Peter Parker's girlfriend, and I guess and then something happens to Electro, and then you fight, and then Green Goblin drops Peter's girlfriend, and she dies because Peter, I guess, snapped her neck or something, or or didn't snap her
I
neck.
love how you say, I guess snapped her neck or something.
I think he gave her whiplash when he was trying. Yeah, and it's like I guess yeah, it's funny that I remember Mary Peter's girlfriend dying more than I do remember Electro existing,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
funny. But I guess that's more iconic.
Yeah, I've never played the game because I've heard it's not very good, but
Eh,
I.
it's it's decent for when it's decent for a Spider-Man game based on the movies made in 2014.
Well,
Like, I
to be
mean,
fair,
the
those
world of,
movies were really bad, so.
I mean,
The Amazing
oh yeah,
Spider-Man
the
ones were
Amazing
bad.
Spider-Man movies weren't really that good. The, the Spider-Man movies, like the other
The
ones, like the
originals.
trilogy,
Yeah.
those were decent.
I've never seen
Uh,
those actually. I've only seen the ones past that. I don't know why. I always wanted to see those first three, but I never got around to it. So yeah, those are our gaming memories that are the most sad, delightful, frustrating, and shocking. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Console Conversations. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be safe, everybody, and goodbye.